accompanying Jinyu, while Jinyu himself used a talisman to escape with his soul intact. Ganji asked young Master Gu if it was okay to let Jinyu escape like that. Master Gu replied that Jinyu was still useful, and would eventually die by his hands, so it didn't matter when. Bystanders were amazed at how easily Master Gu defeated Jinyu, even though they were both head disciples. They admired his breakthrough into the conferred king realm at such a young age, making him the only young supreme in that realm. However, they were also worried because Jinyu had a powerful older brother rumored to be in seclusion. Their family was known to be protective of the younger ones. Xioner then rebuked Master Gu, stating that she wouldn't thank him for his actions. He replied that he didn't need her gratitude, as he simply wanted people to know that only he had the right to bully her. Irritated, Xioner told Master Gu to stop being so fake and asked about his motives. Master Gu approached her and suggested that perhaps he felt guilty and just wanted to make amends, which made her blush. However, he added that it might also be because he enjoyed seeing her hate him but was unable to do anything about it. She vowed that sooner or later, she would make him suffer and go through the pain she once endured. Master Gu encouraged her while patting her head. Suddenly, the Taoist Immortal Palace's law enforcement team arrived at the scene and asked Master Gu to cooperate. They explained that, as a head disciple, he knew the rules of the Immortal Palace and hoped he wouldn't keep them waiting concerning the day's incident. Master Gu complied, saying he might as well go and pay his respects to the elders. As Master Gu was taken away, Xioner wondered about his motives and whether he really came that day just to toy with her. If he truly offended the other head disciple because of this, it would be too big a price to pay. Xioner noticed that Master Gu's actions were more peculiar compared to the past, though he was still as ruthless as ever when executing those men. His eyes didn't even falter, as if taking their lives was as simple as stepping on a few ants. Regardless, she knew she must be careful when practicing in the Taoist Immortal Palace in the future. On the other hand, Jinyu ran to his brother, asking for vengeance and claiming that Master Gu went too far. If it hadn't been for the magic talisman left behind by the clan elders, he feared he and his brother would have been separated forever. Jinju responded that he had already been informed of what happened and believed Jinyu was partly to blame. However, as this concerned the pride of their family name, he would seek justice for him. After all, the Golden Horn clan couldn't be easily messed with. Yet, his ancient arts were now at a bottleneck, and he was no match for Master Gu. So, he advised Jinyu to stay underground for a while, assuring him that once he broke through, Master Gu would merely be a stepping stone in his journey to becoming the strongest of his generation. Later, Master Gu arrives at the Boundless Mountains and was welcomed by everyone. He asked if anything had happened during his absence, and they replied that other than a few head disciples and elders sending people over to check on his whereabouts, not much had happened in the Boundless Mountains in the past 6 months. They were, however, uncertain about what opportunity had befallen the eldest prince of the Great Chu Taoist Empire, who had broken through to the peak of the conferred Lord Realm after returning from the Celestial Tombs. He was now one of the first elite head disciples. In addition, Yanmei from the Nine-Tailed Fox clan asked them to convey to Master Gu that she had matters to discuss when he returned, and she would pay a visit again. So he was intrigued by the news. Later, Master Gu discovered he had broken through using 8,000 fate value to upgrade his cultivation to the mid-stage conferred king realm. In order to act covertly outside, his father planned for the Immortal Gu family to take over the Taoist Immortal Palace by making him the designated heir. With all the head disciples, including Chu Yunian, far less capable than him, this shouldn't be an issue. However, even as the heir, taking over the palace meant dealing with the annoying elders, especially the Great Elder, who had a fearsome reputation in the upper realm. The Great Elder was unyielding like iron and seemed to be aware of his demonic heart. Having supported the Taoist Immortal Palace for millions of years, this towering and immovable pillar was not someone to be trifled with. Ever since he returned to the upper realm, the demonic force in Master Gu's body had been increasingly trying to force its way out. He believed it was because he had swallowed the origin spirit of the ancient emperor and Linshan. The immortal devouring demonic art allowed him to swallow Emperor origins and devour worlds. Determined to see how far his demonic body's cultivation had reached, Master Gu had activated a formation to seal its presence. A terrifying aura gushed out from him as he broke the chain of the demon within, releasing its power for him to see. The palace was flooded with demonic ki as his cultivation increased, reaching a quasi-heavenly god realm. Now, Master Gu saw his greatest trump card, a quasi-heavenly god realm. This unbelievable cultivation speed was enough to make enemies with the whole world. Devouring beings as nourishment to strengthen oneself was a method even more fascinating than the system's extra points, making enemies of the whole world. To hell with that cannon fodder villain route. Master Gu decides to be the final boss. A beautiful nine-tailed fox woman came to greet Master Gu. As Master Gu approached her, he couldn't help but think that, given her current demeanor, it was hard to believe she once tried to kill him in the past for the position of the true heir. However, after he cast a demonic spell on her, she became much better behaved. While caressing her tail, Master Gu mentioned that the half-year period for her symptoms was nearly due, so he gave her some medicine, which she happily accepted. Subsequently, he inquired about her collections. She reported that during the past 6 months, she had gathered the source blood of many individuals with special bloodline physiques. These individuals were all currently residing in the treasury. In addition, she had preserved numerous ancient corpses stolen from various clans, keeping their essence intact for her master. Recently, she heard of a young teenage girl at the foot of the mountains with exceptional innate talent who was being favored by the Great Elder. If everything went as planned, it seemed that the Taoist Immortal Palace would be welcoming a new disciple. Master Gu was aware of this girl named Xioner, and it appeared her journey up the mountain had been quite smooth. At this moment, Xioner was with the Great Elder, who acknowledged that her purpose for coming here was to outshine her brother and reclaim what was once hers. She responded that she already had new Dao bones and didn't need to take back anything. However, she vowed to make her brother pay for the years of pain and seek justice. The Elder laughed, praising her ambition and deeming her worthy of being the favorite. He then mentioned that young Master Gu's devilish nature was too deep-rooted. He wanted to use the Dao bones to mask his demonic nature, and the Elder could sense it from the day they first met. The successor's position at his Taoist Immortal Palace could never be handed over to someone with evil intentions. So, he asked Xioner to prove that she was capable of surpassing her brother. When she inquired how she could prove herself, the Elder responded that she must beat young Master Gu's record on the Heavenly Dao path. She was already aware that her brother had surpassed all his peers and set a new record that had remained unbroken for 100,000 years. With determination, Xioner declared that she would definitely break that record, which delighted the Great Elder. Just then, a dragon appeared, which turned out to be Chu Wunian of the Great Chu Taoist Empire. The dragon transformed into a human and greeted the Great Elder. Chu Wunian noticed Xioner, acknowledging her extraordinary talents. The Great Elder asked him to guide Xioner to the Heavenly Dao Road, and Chu Wunian agreed. As they flew to their destination, Chu Wunian engaged in small talk, sympathizing with Xioner about her past and how cruelly her brother had treated her. Xioner, however, told him to focus on leading the way and that he should express his grievances to her brother directly, not involving her in their family matters. Her words made Chu Wunian ponder. He wondered why Xioner would consider Master Gu as her enemy, given her unusual attitude when his name was mentioned. Soon after, they arrived at their destination. Chu Wunian warned Xioner one last time about the pressure on the Heavenly Dao Road. Suddenly, Master Gu appeared, teasing that he hadn't seen her for a few days and she already had a suitor. He jokingly suggested that she should let her big brother evaluate the newcomer. Xioner was undeniably a natural beauty, but she was curious as to why Master Gu was there. He reminded her that she had yet to answer his question. She clarified that Chu Wunian was merely her guide, not her suitor. Master Gu expressed disappointment, as he had hoped to test the suitor's worthiness, ensuring no unworthy individual would gain her attention. Chu Wunian requested that Master Gu cease his cynicism, as Xioner was following the Great Elder's orders to challenge the Heavenly Dao Road. He asked if Master Gu intended to obstruct them, to which Master Gu scoffed at the notion of using the Great Elder's name to pressure him. He questioned if Chu Wunian really believed he would interfere in trivial matters involving the younger generation. Moreover, he was speaking to his sister, so Chu Wunian had no right to interrupt. Chu Wunian warned Master Gu not to think he could push people around. In response, Master Gu provoked him. Fellow disciples discussed how Master Gu was clearly attempting to assert dominance. Although Chu Wunian's strength was far superior to theirs, they feared Master Gu was even stronger. Chu Wunian's chances of winning a fight were slim, but he could recover from a defeat. If he backed down without fighting, his Dao heart would be damaged, leaving no chance for a comeback. Thus, he had no choice but to fight. Chu Wunian decided to test Master Gu's abilities and attacked with his Royal Dragon Palm. However, Master Gu effortlessly dodged the attack. He taunted Chu Wunian, asking if this was the source of his confidence. Then, with just a finger, he broke Chu Wunian's arm, sending him flying into a column, defeated in an instant. Onlookers were in shock at Master Gu's strength, now at the mid-stage conferred king realm. His title as the strongest head disciple was truly deserved, and his power left them speechless. Meanwhile, Chu Wunian, undeterred by the mid-stage conferred king realm, activated his dragon transformation skill, the True Dragon Body. He launched another attack at Master Gu, determined to defeat him and prove his Dao heart. Master Gu merely smiled and, with a powerful slap, knocked him out with a single blow, leaving him unconscious on the ground. The bystanders were left in shock, and Xioner couldn't help but admire her brother's strength. Master Gu looked down at the defeated Chu Wunian, while Yinmei asked why he didn't just kill him. Master Gu replied telepathically that Chu Wunian was the heir of the great Chu Taoist Empire, and killing him in public would inevitably invite trouble. Today's action against Chu Wunian served not only to assert authority in public, but also to warn the elders of the Taoist Immortal Palace that no one else was qualified to fight for the position of the heir as long as Master Gu was present. As he looked at Xioner, he stepped forward and asked if she was moved by her brother, who had taught him a lesson. She responded that she didn't need his help in her matters. Master Gu reminded her about the things he had told her. Chu Wunian had schemed this, and on her way here, he secretly spread word of her intent to challenge the Heavenly Tao Road. This brought the disciples of his sect to gather here and seize the chance to mock her. As a despicable schemer, Master Gu thinks he deserves to be punished. Then, Master Gu warned everyone present that only he could bully his sister. Should anyone else dare to do so, they would pay with their life. While he pondered the situation, he realized that, according to the normal trope, after being rejected by Xioner, Chu Wunian would feel resentful, scheme against her, and have the entire sect come and mock her. Xioner would then put on a spectacular performance, slapping everyone across the face. At the same time, she would seize the chance to challenge her brother. However, he planned on doing the exact opposite of this, completely messing with her little head. Master Gu, excited to see her performance, thought it wouldn't be difficult for her to reach his record. Hearing this shocked her. She couldn't believe that her brother had faith in her. He responded that she was being a silly girl because he had seen her hard work over the years, asking who else would believe her if not him. This wasn't what she had expected, which played with her mind a bit. Did that mean he knew what she had been through all these years? Did he know where she was hiding but never thought of coming to kill her? And what he did back then, was it forced upon him by some hardship? But she came to her senses, realizing that something so abominable could not be justified with the word hardship. Master Gu called out to her because everyone was waiting for her to challenge the Heavenly Tao Road. So she went over to start the challenge. The bystanders were all surprised, asking if all Gu family members were freaks because she climbed past the 10th level like it was nothing. On the 15th level, even Chu Wunian had only managed to reach the 14th level back then, and she was still going strong. On the 18th floor, the previous record of true disciple Gu seemed destined to be stomped on. While nearing her brother's record, she realized the Tao Bones and the Heavenly Tao Road had the same Tao principles. The reason her brother thought she would easily surpass him was that he already knew about this. He had Tao Bones within him back then, and he probably had more than enough strength to keep going. so even if she broke his record, it proved nothing. Therefore, it was no longer necessary to continue, and she jumped down from the heavenly Tao road. This shocked the bystanders, who questioned her actions. After she descended, Master Gu teased her, saying that he wasn't going to care, but she had let her brother down. Her brother had high expectations of her, but was that all she was capable of? This annoyed her completely, as she said that sooner or later she would beat him fair and square. He responded that he would be waiting. Meanwhile, at the Obsidian Sky Ancient Immortal Clan Z family, Auntie Zhu asked her lady if she was still angry about the matter with Yi Chen since a few months had already passed. She asked what Auntie Zhu was talking about, because Yi Chen was merely a malicious aunt, so why would she be bothered by him? She just felt that ever since coming back from the lower realm, something was missing from her memories, and yet there was something extra. Then, the young master of the ancient immortal Yi family, Yi Langshan, appeared. She asked if he had recently heard anything about the young master of the ancient immortal Gu family, Gu Changji. Indeed, it was him, so he asked why his little sister mentioned Master Gu again. He had heard that some time ago, Master Gu had descended to the lower realms to find something, and by chance, she encountered him. Now, she was so concerned with him. Did that kid bully her? She replied, asking what he meant. She was just a bit curious about him. After all, he was regarded as a young supreme on par with her elder brother. She had heard that not too long ago, he easily crushed the young master of the great Chu Taoist Empire. He had also already broken through to the mid-stage of the conferred king realm. So, she warned her elder brother that he shouldn't treat him lightly. This made him smile and say he had heard a lot about Master Gu. Everyone called him the reincarnation of an ancient emperor, but Master Gu was known as the reincarnation of a true immortal. Ancient emperors were pioneers of new lands, bearing the weight of heaven's will, and supreme emperors of all. Having the title of an ancient emperor or a true immortal already said a lot. Master Gu had already broken through to the mid-stage of the conferred king realm, while he had just stepped into the conferred king realm. The gap between them was significant. Suddenly, a servant appeared, informing him that a young man by the name of Yiling had come again, and he wished to challenge him to make a name for himself. Many people had already gathered at the martial training field. She asked who Yiling was, and Yi Langshan explained that Yiling had won first place in the clan competition recently, so the clan promised him 3 rewards. One of them was to have the chance to challenge him for a duel. He wished to seek justice for hurting his father back then during the struggle for the position of heir. She asked again because her elder brother had already compensated them for this matter, and she remembered them accepting the compensation. He agreed that she had not misspoken, but fate was on his side, causing his cultivation to soar. Now, he was taking the opportunity to claim that the main branch looked down upon the outer branches, sowing discord within the clan. It sounded respectable on the surface, but in truth, he was taking this opportunity to make a name for himself. Therefore, he decided to go, because no matter his intentions, the clan's promise must be honored. In another place, inside the Supreme Immortal Dynasty's Eternal Day Imperial City, Yueminkong was deep in thought. According to her previous life, the extreme heaven would soon appear. It was an ancient realm that would manifest in many areas. This matter would become the highest priority for all races and heritages. All the great teachers from all factions would collaborate to form the True Immortal Academy, where they would select the best disciples from every faction to raise into true immortals. The immortal road of the Taoist Immortal Palace should appear soon as well, and her good husband must have schemed for so long and entered the Taoist Immortal Palace for this reason. Back then, the appearance of a heavenly treasure, the immortal spirit, sparked a mad rush among the most powerful figures to claim it. But it disappeared at a crucial moment. Now that she thought about it, the immortal spirit must have been swallowed up by Master Gu using some secret trickery, right under the noses of those terrifying ancient supreme monsters. As she thought about Master Gu, she knew that he possessed a forbidden demonic art, and his real cultivation wasn't as simple as it seemed. Even Xioner's unfortunate fate, having her cultivation base stolen and her disappearance, was likely linked to Master Gu. Therefore, she decided to use Xioner as a pawn to unveil Master Gu's true intentions and expose his mask. She was confident that she would protect her in this life. Moreover, she believed that the successor of the ancient emperor of reincarnation would appear at this time. She knew she must obtain the ancient reincarnation talisman he held. She remembered that he was called Yiling. Meanwhile, Master Gu was with Xioner and the Great Elder, creating an awkward atmosphere. The Great Elder urged him to speak his mind, asking him not to beat around the bush. Master Gu responded that he simply wanted to express his gratitude to the Great Elder for accepting his little sister, Xioner, as his disciple. The Elder assured him that Xioner was a gifted child and that he would guide her with the utmost care. However, the Great Elder appeared to harbor some prejudice against Master Gu. As her older brother, Master Gu naturally hoped Xioner would one day surpass his achievements, and he did not feel the need to pretend to be good. The Great Elder questioned Master Gu's intentions, asking why he had stolen Xioner's Dao bones back then. Master Gu insisted it was a personal matter within the Gu family, and that he would find a way to repay Xioner. He urged the Great Elder to focus on his role in guiding Xioner. The Great Elder decided to let go of his grievances, and asked if there was anything else on Master Gu's mind. Master Gu shared his concern that the Great Elder might be too harsh on Xioner because of his own actions. This statement angered the Elder, causing the atmosphere to darken. He asked if Master Gu was questioning his character. Xioner intervened, trying to defuse the situation. She reassured her brother that her master was kind and not what he was implying. Master Gu responded by questioning Xioner's understanding of the dangers in the world, adding that some old men could be very bad. His words triggered the Great Elder, who couldn't believe that a junior would dare speak to him in such a manner. Although he knew Master Gu was deliberately provoking him, the Great Elder agreed to train Xioner until she could easily surpass her brother. He even vowed to step down as the Great Elder if he failed to do so. As the heir of the Immortal Palace, Master Gu knew this was not impossible. He smiled, thinking that he had achieved his goal. Xioner believed that her brother had provoked the Great Elder to ensure he would be more attentive in teaching her. However, she couldn't help but wonder if there was an ulterior motive behind his actions. As she pondered this, the system informed Master Gu that his fate value had increased due to his actions. Master Gu thanked the Great Elder and assured Xioner that he wouldn't disturb them any further. As he left, the Great Elder acknowledged that Master Gu was skilled at scheming, and it was no wonder he had risen to his current position. He believed that Master Gu would one day be among the world's elite. Xioner asked her master if he was alright, and he responded that her brother's actions had truly angered him. He urged her to train hard to defeat her brother. Xioner then asked her master about the hidden secrets surrounding her brother's demonic nature. The Great Elder admitted that he couldn't see through the mystery, but suspected that Master Gu's demonic nature was influencing his actions. Meanwhile, Master Gu prepared for the imminent opening of the Immortal Road. He focused on developing his inner world, created by the world seeds. He learned that fate value could be used to evolve anything, and he used it to create a temple within his inner world. He felt a sense of control and fascination with the inner world he had created. However, he still needed one crucial piece of information: the exact date when the Immortal Road would open. He suspected that only his fiancée, who had regressed, would know this. If she was truly seeking revenge, she would not miss this opportunity. At this moment, Yuuminkong was seen riding a divine phoenix across the ancient city of Black Rock. Someone appeared, impressed by the prestigious mount and wondering if Yuuminkong was some sort of royalty. Suddenly, the amulet reminded the man, Yiling, not to be distracted by mere appearances and to focus on seizing the lucky chance inside the heavenly palace. Yiling asked the amulet not to worry, as he was only taking a brief look. They were not far from the immeasurable heaven ancient city, and it wouldn't take much time to get there. He mused about catching a glimpse of a beauty being a fleeting dream and wondered if she would even be his type. Meanwhile, Yuuminkong pondered the significance of the location. According to her memory, this was the place where the descendant of the ancient emperor of reincarnation first made a name for himself. From the ancient immortal Yi family, Yi Langshan had also suffered significant losses during their challenge. He was later completely defeated in battle and even had his title as heir snatched away. In one fell swoop, the individual gained fame, made numerous friends among the ancient clans, and even surpassed Master Gu's limelight. However, his current cultivation should, at most, be in the conferred Lord realm. This presented the perfect opportunity to seize the ancient reincarnation talisman. This area was the only entrance and exit point to the ancient city of Black Rock. Kong was confident that she would obtain the ancient reincarnation talisman eventually. When Ling arrived at the ancient city, he noticed a sudden feeling of unease. He asked his turtle bro if he felt it too. The turtle mocked him, as he was typically quite bossy when flirting with arrogant girls, and asked if he was chickening out. But before Ling could respond, he noticed an attack being cast upon him. He managed to block it with his amulet just in time. Ling quickly realized the situation was dire as he saw the Sacred Realm Masters. He asked them why they attacked him when there was no bad blood between them. Kong appeared from above, answering that he was merely guilty of having too much talent. While Ling blushed to see her up close, Kong added that she needed to borrow his reincarnation talisman for an important matter. This surprised him, as he had never revealed it to anyone. Kong responded that he didn't need to know how she knew and that she wouldn't discuss it with him. The Sacred Realm Masters had already aimed for him from all sides. The turtle warned Ling that if he wanted to live, he should use his secret technique quickly. With no other choice, he activated his trump card, and a great Sacred Realm aura burst into the sky. Realizing he was using a secret technique, the Sacred Realm Masters decided to protect Kong. However, they were too slow. Ling was already in front of Kong, who realized the immense power he was capable of controlling. Enraged, Ling launched a ferocious attack on her, as he had painstakingly collected and refined such energy for tens of years to finally reach so high, only to lose it all here. The turtle suddenly urged Ling to retreat, as a powerful aura descended from the sky. It came from an actual great Sacred Realm cultivator. Taking advantage of the Jade Talisman's blessing, they hurriedly escaped. Ling cursed at them and vowed to return for his revenge. Kong, now realizing that it was no wonder Ling had escaped from Master Gu's grasp in her previous life, lamented her underestimation of his trump card. She had failed this time and feared that it would be harder to succeed in the future. Her subordinates arrived late to protect her, and she thanked Yanji for saving her. Kong then inquired about the senior's origin. Yanji informed her that young Master Gu had instructed her to tell Kong to go to Boundless Heaven. If she did not go to see him, he would personally come and take her there. Heavenly Dao Ancient City was about to host a banquet at heaven-facing Tower's Myriad Dao, and young Master Gu hoped she would not delay. Shock was evident on Kong's face, as she wondered when her fiancé had acquired a great Sacred Realm woman by his side. This had never been the case in her previous life. As soon as she entered Boundless Heaven, he had sent a great Sacred Realm expert to invite her. As a regressor, she should have been ahead of every opportunity, but now she had failed to acquire the reincarnation talisman, and even her own whereabouts seemed to be under Master Gu's control. She pondered why the number of variables had increased ever since she returned from the lower realm. It was as if all her actions were being calculated by him. With a sigh, she realized that she would indeed have to figure out his true intentions later in Heavenly Dao Ancient City. Master Gu, meanwhile, was thinking about the Taoist Immortal Palace. The Immortal Road would be opening soon, and those old bastards must have been very busy. Yet, they were still hosting a Myriad Dao banquet to assess each major power. Although the Taoist Immortal Palace had controlled the Immortal Road for thousands of years, countless opportunities lay within. This time, it was even rumored that the birth of an immortal spirit would occur. In the face of such benefits, even the Taoist Immortal Palace had no choice but to open their doors to talented youths from different large powers, so as to avoid being the target of many powerful groups. In the Tao Palace of the 5 most powerful true disciples, after discounting those who were injured and in seclusion, Master Gu wondered who else was there. Since this was a competition among the younger generation, the Great Elder would certainly weigh the pros and cons that his entrance to the Immortal Road would bring. At least during this period, he wouldn't overtly oppose Master Gu over his position as heir. Suddenly, Yanji appeared before Master Gu, reporting what had happened and that Kong seemed to want something from Ling. Intrigued, Master Gu asked if they had succeeded. Yanji responded that they had not and explained the events that had transpired. Master Gu thought about the information he had received from Yanji, the strange venerable youth, and the familiarity of the situation. The system then notified him of the appearance of a new fated one, with a new mission in progress. This excited Master Gu, who instructed Yanji not to scare the prey away, and to avoid being spotted for the time being. So she agreed. Since the system recognized the presence of the fated one, Master Gu knew he would certainly meet this person. However, as the system had not yet given him a mission, it must mean that the fated one was still quite far away. This was not a bad situation, as the Myriad Dao banquet was near at hand, and Master Gu had some time to spare. He could meet a few acquaintances and probe around for more information on this new fated one. Meanwhile, a group of non-immortal palace disciples was conversing about the Myriad Dao banquet. Their sect had sent them to attend, and they must have had some sort of assurance for them to enter the immortal road. Normally, non-immortal palace disciples would never have such an opportunity. The lady responds, stating that if only it were that simple. She adds that the so-called immoral road is more like a part of an ancient, immoral continent, teeming with hidden opportunities. Who wouldn't want to monopolize it? This time, the Taoist Immortal Palace is incredibly generous. It's astonishing how they have given in to the pressure of great powers like their sect. The Dragon Lady interjects, mentioning the Taoist Immortal Palace and the young master of the Gu family. With him around, it is nearly impossible for the rest of the younger generation to seize any opportunities on the immortal road. The lobster humanoid exclaims that they are seizing all the opportunities and challenges the others, questioning if they think Master Gu can seize everything. With a united effort, even an elephant can't withstand the bites of 1,000 ants. His companions find his bravado amusing, especially since he accidentally compared himself to a mere ant. Suddenly, their attention is drawn to Langshan's arrival. Upon his arrival, Miss Leelai asks her brother if he thinks Master Gu will come. He reassures her not to worry, as Master Gu represents the Taoist Immortal Palace. It's only natural for him to be present. The young master of the White Tiger family, Bai Lai, welcomes them, only to mock Langshan. He laughs at him, asking if he is ashamed to be here since he had heard Langshan suffered a massive loss at the hands of a branch disciple a few days prior, ending the fight in a draw. He then adds that there is no need to feel ashamed. After all, Bai Lai and Yiling are sworn brothers and are well aware of each other's strength. Miss Leelai retorts, asking what Bai Lai is so proud of. Master Gu suddenly appears and greets everyone. He acknowledges Brother Yi, who is often mentioned alongside him as one of the two young supremes. He didn't expect to meet him today. Langshan welcomes Master Gu with a smile, stating that his arrival is just in time. As the representative of such an important event, it's only natural for Master Gu to be present. Bai Lai stares intently at Yinmei, while Master Gu greets Miss Leelai. Langshan bows and expresses his admiration for Master Gu's strength, saying that their reputations are well justified. However, he believes that being named together with Master Gu is falsely praising him. Miss Leelai chimes in, explaining that her brother's mindset has been affected by the tricks of a branch disciple. She adds that Yiling has gone too far, using the pretense of seeking justice for his father to manipulate public opinion within the clan, tricking her brother into suppressing his cultivation and accepting his challenge. This revelation prompts Master Gu to think about Yiling's manipulative tactics. Master Gu then addresses the gossip surrounding Yinmei's and Bai Lai's relationship. He inquires about Yinmei's silence, asking if it's due to his presence that she is acting so reserved. The bystanders wonder about the relationship between Yinmei and Bai Lai. They have heard that Master Gu is domineering in the Taoist Immortal Palace, and many of the elders dare not offend him. Since Yinmei also cultivates there, perhaps she is holding back for fear of the consequences. This provokes Bai Lai, who tells Master Gu not to harass Yinmei and to back away from her. Master Gu questions Bai Lai's statement, asking if there is a problem with showing concern for a sect peer. Bai Lai warns him not to underestimate his resolve. Master Gu then challenges Bai Lai, staring him down and asking if he is looking for a fight. Yinmei intervenes, pleading with Master Gu not to make things difficult for Bai Lai, and asking him to forgive any offense Bai Lai has committed for her sake. Bai Lai realizes that Yinmei was pretending not to recognize him in order to protect him from Master Gu's wrath. The bystanders speculate whether Bai Lai and Yinmei will face dire consequences, as Yinmei has just stood up to Master Gu for Bai Lai's sake. However, they believe that since Yinmei is from the same sect as Master Gu, he will not raise his hand against her on this occasion. The lobster humanoid scoffs, thinking there is nothing great about Master Gu and believes that the group of humans are all cowards. Master Gu decides that since Yinmei has begged for mercy on Bai Lai's behalf, he will let the matter go. Yinmei thanks her senior brother Gu and assures him that this will not happen again. Master Gu then orders Yinmei to come with him, further angering Bai Lai. Yinmei agrees, admitting that her senior brother is right to scold her. Bai Lai feels helpless, cursing at Master Gu in his mind and vowing that when he breaks through to the mid-stage of the conferred king realm, he will make Master Gu pay for the humiliation he suffered today. As the two leave, Yinmei asks Master Gu if he plans to attend the Myriad Dao banquet, where the prosperous youngsters from various regions are currently dining. Master Gu replies that there is no need for that anymore. He wonders if Yinmei is curious about why he involved her in such a dramatic act with him, only to let Bai Lai go in the end. She confirms his suspicion, adding that Bai Lai was the one who started the conflict in front of everyone. Even if Master Gu had given him a harsh punishment, she doubts that the White Tiger clan would have intervened to help. Master Gu clarifies that Bai Lai is not an idiot. Even without the events that transpired, he would not have taken the initiative to offend Master Gu. However, because Yinmei protected Bai Lai, everyone now sees him as a coward who can only argue while hiding behind a woman. In any case, the young, aspiring Supreme could only ride and watch as his fiancée was played around with by another man. He couldn't take this humiliation lightly. After all, hadn't he said before that Yiling was his best mate? To save his fiancée and avoid humiliation as quickly as possible, he decided to team up with Yiling, the brand new Supreme whom everyone was unfamiliar with, who had just revealed himself. Master Gu chimed in, stating that this was exactly what he had hoped for. After that, he revealed it was about time for her to discreetly greet her fiancé. He guessed he was probably not feeling well right now. She informed him that she understood. Meanwhile, Bai Lai was furious as his servants tried to comfort him. Stubbornly, he believed that if it weren't for his limitations, he wouldn't have allowed Master Gu to humiliate him to such an extent. When the right time came, he would ensure Master Gu tasted the same humiliation. Later, upon seeing his fiancée, Yinmei, Bai Lai happily greeted her and asked if the bastard had done anything inhumane to her. Tearfully, she responded that what had happened was her fault. She hadn't expected Master Gu to do such things. Before she could finish, Bai Lai comforted her, saying he understood where she was coming from. Master Gu could only be so outrageous within the Taoist Immortal Palace, and he was moved that she had stood up to help him. Yinmei explained that she couldn't move around easily during the Myriad Dao banquet, and was afraid he would misunderstand. That's why she had come to see him. She leaned on him, saying she was scared and asked if he could take her home when the Immoral Road opportunity ended. He embraced her, assuring her not to worry. When the Immoral Pathway opened, he would definitely team up with Yiling to seize the opportunity. By the time he ascended midway through the King's realm, he would make Master Gu suffer the same way she did. He then took out a jade charm from his inventory, telling her that he would always be in the Taoist Old City. If she felt wronged in any way, she could contact him through the charm at any time. He gave her the charm to protect herself and advised her to return if there were no more matters to discuss. He didn't want Master Gu to embarrass her if he discovered her missing. With that, he pushed her away, closed the doors, and cried emotionally. On the other side, Yinmei felt indifferent and left without a problem. Meanwhile, Bai Lai was still in his loving moment, thinking that Yiling had probably arrived at the Taoist Old City by now. He decided to go and reconnect with him. Later, Yinmei reported what had happened and gave the jade to Master Gu. Master Gu thought Bai Lai was head over heels and laughed. If the charm could reveal his location at any time, it would make it much easier to locate Yiling. He praised Yanmei and instructed her to keep an eye on Bailai's location at all times, informing him immediately if Bailai came into contact with Yiling. Suddenly, Yuemingkong arrived, riding a phoenix. Witnessing this, Yiling concluded that the one who had ambushed him was Yuemingkong. He decided to settle new and old matters with her later. Master Gu greeted Yuemingkong, mentioning that it had been a long time since they last met, and teasingly asked if she had come because she missed her fiancé so much. She responded with a straight face, telling him to quit dreaming and not think too highly of himself. He feigned hurt and annoyed. She asked him why he had sent that woman to inform her to visit. Caught off guard, he jokingly asked if he detected a hint of jealousy in the air. She pushed him off, and he explained that Yanji was a capable woman he had brought from the lower realm, and she could also be considered one of his admirers. He then inquired if Yuemingkong was jealous, to which she replied that he was too self-obsessed, and urged him to get to the point about why he had asked her to visit. Master Gu playfully accused her of being boring, mentioning that he had heard from Yanji that Yuemingkong had led 4 Sacred Realm Masters to capture a man who had ascended to the conferred Lord Realm, but had failed. He asked her what the man had done to offend her and suggested discussing it with her fiancé. With a grin, he added that he would go kill him and avenge her. Hearing this, Yuemingkong was surprised that a person as cold as Master Gu would be concerned about her. She believed he didn't know about Yiling's special abilities yet, so why did he want to kill him? She asked if he was going to kill him without knowing whether he was right or wrong. He replied that it wasn't important if she wanted him dead. He would help her kill him. Yuemingkong was shocked that he would help her kill whomever she wanted. She couldn't help but smile, thinking that Master Gu was probably the only person who could say something so sinister while being so at peace. She now believed that if she was the only reason he wanted to kill Yiling, that meant he actually cared about her, even if just slightly. The system informed him that the favored daughter of heaven, Yuemingkong, had changed her attitude, resulting in an increase of 800 luck points and 400 fate points. He tried to ask her again, and she shyly replied that she had happened to catch a glimpse of the inheritance of the ancient heavenly emperor of reincarnation in some old scrolls. However, when she went to look for it, she found out that Yiling had already gotten to it before her. He pretended to be shocked, jokingly saying that meant she wanted to kill someone and steal their treasure. He expressed his surprise at